Bird of Prey 5. El Karuga. Qapla.
I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail Karuga. That's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember to tip your waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
If you come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. If you're here to make war, we surrender.
Both good. The important thing is I'm meeting new people.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a piecework factory. From now on, it's going to be under one roof. You're going to run it like a business. And that means you're going to make a profit.
Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before or since. Tall words proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Ezri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Bird of Prey 5 channel. Hail Karuga.
Hello world, it's Bird of Prey 5, Qapla, and welcome to Enterprise Wednesday for August 30th, 2023. Today we'll be watching Star Trek Enterprise Season 2, Episode 16, Future Tense, that originally aired February 19th, 2003. And welcome to the panel, Resolute Germ and Admiral T. Qapla, guys.
Qapla, Hail Karuga. Hi,
Hail
Germ.
Karuga.
How you doing, Teague?
So, heads up, I am exhausted. I am tired. I am not doing well today. And I was 50-50 on whether I was going to stream at all, but I got most of this stuff already done. So I figured might as well go ahead and get it started. There is a serious possibility at times I will have to drop off the stream for a bit. I will try to watch it best I can on the TV, but if there's long periods, you don't hear me say anything, apologies in advance. You guys can hang out as long as you want. I'll get back and turn off. That's no way to do a stream, says Mama Pray. I know it's not ideal. It's just a heads up, just in case. I will do my best to be here throughout. Okay, Mama Pray. Mama Pray is happier with it.
Yeah. No need to worry, Bird. We'll cover you if you have to drop off.
Thank you.
I just want to say right now, 50% of Bird of Prey is still twice as good as 100% as Admiral Teague.
Well, I don't think you should sell yourself short. That's sure.
I have tools, I have assets, and I have a certain charm, but your Star Trek IQ is the superior intellect, sir.
Okay. I want to thank you, but I also don't want to make you look ridiculous. Because
it's a fine line.
It's not. So thank you.
I do a good job of making myself look ridiculous. You don't have to help.
Understood. John Araki was first in the chat. today, saying uno, and rightly calling it the hashtag napstream. Josh Reese is the new Bird of Prey 5 song. It's been a long nap, getting from morning till now. It's been a long nap, but my alarm is finally near. I will tell my dream to them. I will tell my dream to them again. Josh Reese says, go over to birdofprey5.com/SR for all your watch along with Bird of Prey 5, only when Bird streams himself sleeping through the episode or movie. Indeed, if you're new here or just don't know, head over to birdofprey5.com/SR. That's the screening room, so you can watch today's episode live with us in a couple minutes. Or if you're watching this later, after this was already live, you'll have to get your own copy of the episode on DVD or Blu-ray or streaming. And again, it's Star Trek Enterprise Season 2, Episode 16, Future Tense. Resolute Germ says, hello all, welcome Resolute. Admiral Teague says, hey there, welcome Admiral Teague. And Admiral Teague did a $2 super sticker. Thank you so much, Admiral. You're a waving chicken with a cape.
Is it a pear or is it a chicken? I don't know, but $2 well spent. It's always a pleasure to hang out with you.
It could be a pear. I could see a pear.
I believe that's a lemon and a lime.
A lemon and a lime.
It's not natural. It's a mystery. It's a mystery box.
The size difference is astonishing.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Captain Fandom Nerd says, hello, Captain. John Araki says, aloha world. Indeed. Josh Reed says, what? Late O'Prey 5 is still taking a nap. So early O'Prey is starting to stream. The end must be near. That was never spoken about. Keely Chow says, hey, everybody, what's going on? And hello to Captain Phantom Nerd. Hey, Keely. Josh Reed says, Bird of Prey, why do you keep taking down celebrity pictures from the O'Prey 5 wall of celebrities? I did not take down celebrity pictures of any of the recent dead. Hakeem says, hey, Bird and all. Qapla, Hakeem. John Araki says, tired, not doing well today. Almost didn't make it. Sounds downright presidential in this world. Hey, Yvette, good evening to the lovely Yvette. Yvette says, good evening, Bird and everyone. Qapla, Yvette. Dan Ben says, hello, Dan Ben. Josh Street says, Bird of Prey, just take a nap with the alarm set for an hour so you can end the stream, since you gave Germ and Admiral to pull the job of telling us what's happening on the screen. They can tell you.
We've got a great big episode of Enterprise coming up for you, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry.
No, that's perfect. Dan Van has some Z's lolling. The one about the one with the TARDIS ship. Yes, this is the ship that's bigger on the inside. Matt G is waving. Hello, Matt G. Dan Van says, is a super sticker worth it? Well, I mean, if you like a super chat, but rather submit your comment in sticker form, then I suppose it is. Admiral Teague says, hey to Captain Keely and Dan, who's putting in some emojis of his own and says hi back. John Araki says, sounds like Bird should have done a late term enterbortion today and gotten some sleep. I tried to get sleep, John. I tried and tried and tried again.
That's a decent fake word. I like enter-abortion. That's funny.
John Araki says Mamo Pray should sub in today and tell us a story instead. Well, it's Enterprise Wednesday, so not Mamo Pray Story Wednesdays.
Though, if she wanted to do that during Ashoka, I think that people would be more willing to listen to her and more likely to get a good story after what I saw last night. Wow, what a stinker! You thought Star Trek was bad. This is just as bad.
Yeah, I will take your guys' word for it, since I'm not really a Star Wars fan.
It's 28 minutes long. It's 28 minutes long.
I mean, I did watch Mandalorian. Now that seemed decent. But
this was the longest 28 minutes of my life, Bird. Wow. It was the stupidest, most pointless, boring. The characters were locked in by stereotypes. These were very smug, very stoic women. They could only come off badly. It was paced extremely slow without them really knowing how to create like a medium tempo show. So just bad all around, bad. Everyone's acting wasted. No one was able to get across anything. I thought that this was just an absolute trash fire.
I am glad I missed it.
Well, for the Star Wars fans, the wounds are still fresh. I don't know if a show like mine could even get people to want to watch it. It's hurtful. Go ahead, Wesley.
No one wants to watch it. Star Wars is dead. Just ignore it. Ahsoka might as well be some wacko on the internet putting out a TV show he does with action figures.
Dan Ben says
the action figure guy probably has better quality.
Very qualified people are noping out of it. A lot of people who committed to it because they do Star Wars are getting destroyed on views. I found that I pretty much do both, but I cannot get views on anything Disney. People seem to be boycotting it, whether they're saying it or not.
Josh Street says, didn't they make a story mission in Star Trek Online about how this ship ended up near the Enterprise? They very well may have, Josh.
Probably.
Dan Ben saw Enterprise episodes on TV for the first time they aired, and then later on DVD. And also says a lot of people liked the Ahsoka episode. Well, that's between you and those people. I am not one of them, but I'm not saying I hated it because I just didn't watch it, and I don't care about it.
I've been checking out my friends' reviews who committed to review it, and I've only heard like disappointed or, like that it was just one long, it was nothing happened. It was waiting for the next thing, and hopefully
as someone who's,
episode 4,
searched the internet for years and years and years, I am 100% confident I can find people who both liked, loved, and hated anything you can imagine.
Well, the issue here is we're 14 million views apart on what Disney says they got, and Samba TV and other people say they got 1.2 million views. Disney claims like 14 or 15 million views. So we don't know. This could be a car wreck. I mean, a lot of people like define people.
Well, a lot of people said they loved Andor as well, and we all know what a big pile of crap that was.
I'll say Andor was at least competently done. It wasn't stupid. It was just really, really slow. Really slow.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. This is Star Trek Enterprise. So I don't care about Ahsoka or Star Wars.
Let's talk about Porthos.
Let's keep it focused to Enterprise.
Trying to delay you from starting a bad episode.
Well, I'm going to start the episode and then just let it go. So once it starts, if you guys want to talk Ahsoka, be my guest. I don't care.
I think Josh has the majority opinion really on that. Like most people seem to be where Josh is. And I'm with Josh on that in the last John on that.
Lost was better than Ahsoka.
It's kind of the same.
God.
It's kind of the same people. It's the same technique.
I don't know about that.
It's a little slower, but yeah. Sorry.
Josh, I couldn't really give a rant because I just don't care. I mean, I know people are saying that Ahsoka is like the fifth or sixth season of Rebels, but I've never seen Rebels, so that would mean nothing to me.
You need to watch 7 seasons of Rebels. I'm
Whatever.
sorry, 7 seasons of Clone Wars, 2 or 3 seasons of Rebels, and then like all of the Mandalorian, 2 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett, and you're ready to go.
Right? Yeah. Wow.
It's not episodic at all. Yeah, it's
too much
overwhelming.
homework for me.
They're getting by with hey, you didn't notice it because it's so much deep lore.
Okay. Anyway, we are heading to the screening room, and we are about to get started. So I will count down. We'll hit play. If you're watching through YouTube, you'll get a screenshot update every 10 seconds or so. And yeah, life will go on. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And we have a little ship flying in space in front of the NX-01. It's on screen. He's looking for vital signs, but the hull is scattering the senses. Some sort of accident, Reed proposes. T'Pol can't get any sensor locks. Bringing it into launch bay, says Captain Archer. And we get this ship that seems to fit perfectly in the launch bay. Reed and Tucker are looking over it. There's no windows. He's not sure what's the bow or the stern. T'Pol is scanning. She thinks she finds a hatch. Oh, was that wasn't Trip? That was Archer. My bad.
That is a particularly ugly ship.
Yeah, but
well, the ship doesn't have to win any.
It looks like it's been out there forever, right? It looks like it's just been out there.
Looks like they've got the phaser that doubles as a welder or a metal cutter.
Looks like, is he using the actual phase pistol?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I like this episode already.
Handy magnetic door opener. John Araki says Bird is saving himself for Loki season 2. I would watch Loki season 2 before Ahsoka. I'll say that. At least I have some idea what's happening.
Loki season 1 was a hand grenade to the MCU. It's just everything is out of like reordering everything. It's Baylock.
John Araki says the tooth is out there. Dan Ben says in Star Trek TNG season 5, they had an episode with a time ship. Yeah, that was
that's true.
The
Matthew Frewer had it.
Yeah, pretending to be from the future, but actually from the past.
I love his delivery on that one line to Data. In a few minutes, you'll be waking up in a place called New Jersey. It's like it's some sort of really horrible place. I mean, it's not the greatest, but
been to New Jersey, it is a horrible place.
I live in New York, so I mean, no one has bigger reasons to bag on New Jersey than me. But like compared to, I don't know, in a few minutes you'll be in a place called the Australian Outback. It's like so much worse. It's like you're gonna be okay no matter where in New Jersey you materialize. There'll be a 7-Eleven and a phone.
But I guess living in New York, you're sort of immune to the crap hole.
You know what? I remember when it was much worse, and the area by the Meadowlands is still terrible, but a lot of New Jersey is really, really beautiful, except for Camden. What you notice when you drive through it is almost the entire American War for Independence seems to have been fought there. Every town has like 3 battle monuments and like 2 historical plaques.
Yeah, you may find a great-great-grandfather or something.
So this ship is from Earth. This is a dead human?
Presumably.
Well, they know he was human, so they don't know where the ship was from.
It's Romulan. Or he was piloting a Romulan vessel when he disappeared. Okay. They found Major Tom. Bird, did they just mess up by mentioning the Romulans at all?
Well,
they haven't mentioned
everything's
Romulans,
kind of different.
They just said he was flying a Romulan ship when he was last seen.
They said that about.
No, he's piloting an experimental warp ship.
Yeah, they didn't say Romulan.
They didn't say. Okay, I misheard. All right, cool. Because when we see the Romulans in this show, T'Pol sort of has an inkling. She's like, we should just leave and not talk to them at all. And when they make their comeback, they have like, I don't know, a spy drone of some kind. Never felt like this admiral cared about Archer or developing him or being a good commander to him. It's the bass speaker from a 1989 Toyota Celica. I'd say Dan Ben has a good point about Dr. Phlox. He's like, they seem to always do really well with creating the doctors. Pretty much every show has a doctor that we can call a standout cast member.
You don't know that there's air.
I would be very hesitant on this move. This is crazy.
Well, it is Trip. He's not the brightest guy on that ship.
Yeah, I guess we're supposed to believe he has a focused technical sort of intelligence. He's not exactly smart. He's smart, just not as we know it.
Dan Ben says at some point in the future, they go from time ships to being able to transport through time.
Was that the temporal Cold War plot? That got confusing. I was glad that was dropped.
Yeah, they had that in Voyager. I think a couple of episodes when they couldn't afford to set for the relativity.
Was that the ship that was a trap to bring them back to Borg space?
No, that was the time ship that showed up a couple of into one
Is that
episode.
the Sarah Silverman episode? Where they have dealings
That was the
with people
same
from
captain.
The future? Okay, so
the
we see them a couple
relativity
of
is
times.
what the ship he's in command of in later seasons.
That was one of the weirdest episodes I had ever seen of Voyager, where they're like, "We are happy to help you with our quest through time, which we have now completed. But if we could just stay in this solar system." Nope. Okay. Back to the Delta Quadrant. I thought I enjoyed the Suliban as bad guys.
They're okay. Sort of villain of the weekish, but extended.
Right. Yes. Well, we needed to kind of stay a little bit away from our familiar factions. They were cognizant of the fact that people were tired of Star Trek and that maybe they had gone too dark and non-exploratory in some of the shows. Like Deep Space Nine is really good, but they don't go to places and explore a lot.
I think they didn't want to step on Voyager too much.
My honest curiosity is which show of the two did better, Deep Space Nine or Voyager? I'm thinking the last couple of seasons of Voyager might have been bigger.
Yeah, it might be. DS9 was in syndication throughout the entire run, and Voyager had a solid network with UPN.
Right, there wasn't a lot of confusing jumping around. I love these archaic terms. How are the phase cannons? Polarize the hull. Whoa. Now the Suliban aren't better than us. They just take PEDs and like add in other like creatures' body parts to get stronger. Are these Suliban affiliated with our whole time conspiracy Suliban group?
Probably.
Our main Suliban
Okay, guys,
antagonists are in touch with the future.
I'll be watching, but I can't talk for a few. I'll be back.
No problem, Bird. We got you covered.
And we're sorry to hear it, Bird. Dan Ben is right. They have some guy who has like a temporal portal. He can talk to them through a little bit, and he either punishes or rewards them based on what they do. And he's got his own future agenda that he's only so much unloaded.
Yeah.
I think we resolved that in a season 3 episode. They kind of step away from the temporal Cold War because I think they realized very quickly they bit off more than they could chew, and that they're always sort of in Mr. Tuvik's territory with this one. With that one, rather. Like right now, the Suliban are just being bad guys. They're just being the jerks that we know them to be.
Yeah, at some point, I believe it's in between season 2 and season 3, where they're trying to take Archer hostage, and he gets pulled through time and ends up screwing everything up. After
pulled
that,
way forward, right, to like a library
Yeah.
at the edge of the. It was almost accidentally Douglas Adams. He was at the library at the end of the universe, watching everything just implode and fall apart, and he had to like read his way out of it or something. It was a strange. They just had to get rid of that storyline. It wasn't ever bearing any fruit for them. Anytime they hit it, it was bad.
Yeah, and then they did the alien Nazis, and then they're done with it completely. As far as
You
I
talking
know,
about the Zindi, or are you talking about like the
No, before.
Suliban, who were supremacists?
Actual where they alien. I forget if it was the Suliban or who it was. They got stranded in World War II, and they helped out the Third Reich.
I don't remember that one.
That was either
It
a
makes
season
sense that
finale
they would,
or
though.
a season premiere.
That's a
I can't
that's a
remember
great
which
that's
one.
the one thing this show never lacked for was Star Trek worthy like concepts. You know what I mean? The temporal time war was Star Trek worthy. They couldn't execute it. They tried. But the idea that the Suliban are helping out the Third Reich, especially with some of those like miracle weapons they claim to have, and I guess we should be euphemistic and call them the Yahtzees. But the fact that the Suliban were helping the Yahtzees, that fits right in, and it also fits in with a personal theory I have, where I feel the Star Trek continuity, their world actually departs from ours around the time of Edith Keeler anyway. That the Star Trek continuity is almost exactly the same up until like the time the show goes on the air. First known incursion, I guess, is yesterday's Enterprise, right? At least in the continuity of the shows. Not yesterday's Enterprise. I'm sorry. Tomorrow is yesterday, where they have thrown back in time by the Black Star and the partially explained time travel.
Yeah, I think that's the first one.
Tomorrow is yesterday, I think is the name of it. They reused that time travel method a couple of times, including Star Trek 4.
Yeah, that's the one they used for that Gary 7 episode, wasn't it?
Right. Except that this time they do it on purpose. In Tomorrow's Yesterday, I think what happens is it starts off pretty nebulous because they hadn't fully figured out their own internal Star Trek time travel, right? They hadn't come up with something they could do. So what happened was that they had some kind of an encounter. I think they just called it an encounter with a Black Star that has thrown them back in time. And we don't know if they've been thrown back in time somewhere else or if the Black Star is the sun. All we know is that they're limping and they're back at Earth. So it seems like maybe they disabled this ship elsewhere and then they just had enough to warp back to Earth, and that was about it. And they were still all kind of fuzzy from the incident. And when they get to Earth, it's just 1966, and they're like, "What the?" You know? That one is fun. It's kind of like Star Trek meets the X-Files, but the aliens are us. Tholians?
Yep. First encounter for Tholians in the timeline.
We're gonna get the bug-like ones, the ones that we see in the redone TOS episode, right? Sort of insectoid.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they even show them on this one.
Right.
I know they show them in A Mirror Darkly, but I doubt. I don't think it's in this one.
Who's translating, our computer or theirs? I think it's theirs, isn't it? Right? Because Hoshi's like, huh? Like typing away. I wonder if they're making fun of Sequest because it sounds like a dolphin on crack. The Tholians are pretty tough in TOS, Dan Ben. They are pretty tough. They have some kind of super weapon they managed to grab the Enterprise in. Although it seems escapable, they're just hanging around there to try to save the captain.
Yeah, the Tholians are really underused.
Yeah, to the point that we are able to make them a really abstract CGI race when we see them. I think we only see them in the Mirror episode.
Yeah.
And we might see them now in the TOS episode Tholian Web. We might see them now, but I don't remember.
If you do see them in the remaster of Tholian Web, they've been based off of what they showed in this.
If I remember, they look the same, but I don't remember if we said what. I think it was matched up. The same effects team does it. The people who do these effects get held over to make the some of them get held over to do the special edition of TOS, at least according to Podcast Enterprise Incidents. But those guys are considered to be like Access Media level of knowledge.
Should they really be messing with the power grid when they don't know the reactor from probably the navigation around that thing?
That would have been a worthy thing to say, and maybe have Trip say, well, that's why we're doing it here in the most empty space we can, or something like that. You know what I mean? You're right. That would have been a useful conversation. And anybody who's joined us, Bert is here. He'll be back to give his thoughts at the end. He's watching along. But if you could preserve his view by watching the stream on a second device, to get the episode, and we'll give you comments here and there and help guide you through it. But there's a slideshow on the YouTube that is very well synced to the episode. I like how a simple manual screwdriver is kind of working things out for them there, right?
Yeah. Then he'd probably step on you.
They had the right idea with trying to salt in some time travel, but they never seem to pull it off cleanly. And this, so far, could be their best time travel related episode because they're merely finding things related to time travel and staying in their own time while they try to deal with it. The Suliban obviously want some of this tech, seems to be what's going on, and so do the Tholians. Like they're just starting to figure out that they've got this amazing piece of tech that I guess it's from the future, right?
Yeah. That seemed to be a theme for Enterprise. They had a lot of great ideas, but when it came to executing a lot of them, they really didn't pull it off so great.
No, I would say you absolutely summarized what I would say is the curse of the show Enterprise is that they were now aware that they had abused trust a little too much in the weakest episodes of Voyager and Deep Space Nine, and there's only a couple of times where I feel like this show gets that weak, but they try to do too much, and I guess you didn't know going in which things were going to work. Like it could have been like any other storyline could have failed too, but it turns out to be the time travel one. And part of their problem is they fall victim to something that Hollywood writers always fall victim to. They become convinced that they can make everything better because they're Hollywood. And they try to make the harm and pain of 9/11 go away with the Zindi storyline. That was spontaneous. It was like group therapy for them.
Yeah, they should have just forgot about it. Because originally that was what they're going to start the show off with and tie that into the Temple Cold War. And it was, we can't do that now.
Instead, they show up and just test a weapon on us in an attack that's extremely similar to 9/11.
Yeah, 3 years later.
Extremely like the Taliban. And then we still had some episodes left where they were kind of, some of them were more reasonable than others, and some of them were okay. And like, we're not supposed to really hate them all that much. And like, it got lost. It was like, nope, I'm okay with hating the people who knocked down those buildings in my fucking city. Sorry, didn't mean to curse. Mama Pray.
But once they abandoned the idea for season 1 to have something like that, they should have never went back to it.
They jumped in with both feet into an idea that they themselves had thought was a little too much. And I think they thought they could finesse it into a story about what happened on that terrible day here in New York, which we're about to approach the anniversary of. But, you know, a TV show can't do it. I would say this, though. That was the only television reaction to that event that wasn't insulting or terrible. Sometimes the Zindi storyline was pretty good.
An episode here or there that doesn't make up for the pretty much overall failure of the idea.
I think what Dan Ben is saying here about the end of the run of Enterprise has some truth to it too. I don't know for sure. And hello, Job. Welcome to the stream. We're glad you're here. And everybody, hit those like and follow buttons for our pal Bird of Prey 5. This is it's always a privilege to be here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fully possible, Dan Ben. UPN wasn't shy about making demands.
And those last few stories, it's like three episode arcs, and then we just were out with that strange episode with Riker. And by strange, I mean terrible. They still have a really, really cool ship. I've got to give people from Enterprise that. They have a really cool ship.
Just so you guys know, I have been listening. Thank you for taking control of the chat. All's well.
Is this about as much description as you would want? Brian, hitting the right notes. Are the waves? Are we making the right size waves?
Honestly, you're doing plenty. I would probably do less, but it's up to you. I don't care.
That's some decent action right there. That looked cool.
Yeah, back when they still knew what they were doing with effects.
Right, and they weren't being stingy about it. They knew they only had so much time, so rather than show it for a half second, then describe it for a while we're living through the effect, and then show it for another half second, we just get the whole effect. It's still kind of brief, but it looked great, and the perspectives they're using were great. I thought that was one of the better combat sequences we've seen in Enterprise.
Yeah. Well, this is before they hired Mr. Screenflare.
Right. We still have people who are hired by people who are hired by Gene Roddenberry and people that were chosen to carry on the Trek lore. They're trying to put their own stamp on it a little bit, but they understand what they're working with, and it's coming from a better place than the Star Trek we get now, with the new Trek we get now. I don't want to call it Star Trek. It's not.
Yeah, the ones who worked on this show understood you don't make a name on a franchise by being creative. You take the established lore and everything in this thing, maybe update it a little bit, but you get a paycheck and you get notoriety for the rest of your career, no matter how long or short of it ends up being.
And you get hired by Seth MacFarlane so that he can reuse all of your Star Trek ideas in the Orville without getting in trouble, which is why it's much more like TNG. You will see the names that produced this show in with his producers. Now, Star Trek today, as people who follow my show will know, has 21 to 23 producers. They get by with just 2 or 3 on this one. And Job is
he's gonna do something
probably
stupid.
got a point. Job's probably got a point, but we have to figure is the shit. Wow, this is still pretty good combat, and a lot of it for an episode of Star Trek. Was this the end of a season? Because we're really going at it here.
Almost end.
Oh, this is a pretty action-packed episode of Enterprise.
I guess micro caliber is engineer talk for tongs.
Yeah, micro calipers, exactly. Give me the strange pair of pliers to crush bitters from the drink mixers from Germany we bought.
Torpedo's about the right size. You can just shove that in the door, place a charge on it, and run.
So what do we have? A reverse ticking clock here where we are reliving the same several moments, so they have to keep reorienting themselves.
Yeah, something like that. They're in a little loop, but everyone else, not so much.
Right. Okay. And they're like at this point cognizant of it. Come on, computer is smashed. Hello, Yvette. Yeah, time loops. They didn't do them too good in Enterprise. They delved in too deeply with the time travel and the time loops. This one is the least troubling one, though, as far as enjoyability. Imagine it's like Groundhog's Day, and every time they do it, they're a little better at it than they were the last time. It was nice that we showed the cutting beam technology that the phase pistols and other weapons can do earlier before showing that. It was nice setup and payoff. They were conscious of what they were going to do.
I agree, Dan Ben. This time loop probably could have been at least one shorter.
We might not even need it. I don't know that we need it. We could have just had the threat of a time loop, or something like that. We could have seen
I think
one
they
of
needed
these
to pad the episode, though.
We could have, yeah. If we wanted a sleeker story, we could have had one of these enemy ships disappear into like a time singularity, and now the problem is to try to reverse out of it or something closer to that. But they'd seen Hunt for Red October, and they wanted to have a thing where they messed with missiles. Didn't they have a missile mishap on an actual Russian sub? And the movie Widowmaker K-19 is in theaters too. So like this whole thing with disarming the weapon is sort of in vogue in 1999, 2000. And we're taking the Back to the Future path out of all these future people and things that we saw. Things that don't belong in our time just disappear.
I would have definitely preferred a complete reset at this point. Just jump back to the beginning. They don't find anything. Be sure to leave out any references to time travel. That's a good point. They are a xenophobic bunch. Well, I guess for a time travel episode, that's not the worst. Still not great. I don't think they ever really pulled off time travel great in this series. All in all, I'd say maybe 5.5 out of 10.
Yeah, it beats the hell out of the library at the end of the universe episode that we get, where they kind of close off the time travel and then finalize it, right? But that strange, the strange. Look, it just didn't work when they did it in this show. They tried a lot of things that were different in this Star Trek show because they were starting to hear the words franchise fatigue, and it was like maybe the first time we'd ever heard that comment made about anything. So they're always being very cognizant of not trying to beat too hard on any one strange or weird thing, but they're trying to do new things, and just sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah. You can never fault them for lack of effort.
It's always a Star Trek worthy idea. Sometimes it fails in its execution, but I don't find myself very often walking away from an episode of Enterprise feeling like I wasn't entertained, like I wasn't at the final frontier, like I didn't see a good Star Trek show.
Yeah.
You know, this was still good fun. This was still good Star Trek. Did it have a bunch of logical problems? Yes. Yeah. Did it have a few things in it where we just had to roll our eyes just a little bit? Yes. Is it Shakespeare compared to the very best episode of Strange New Worlds? I think everyone knows the answer to that one.
I don't know about this Strange New Worlds you speak of. That doesn't exist.
It's probably the worst fanfic you could think of Star Trek, honestly.
So, Bird, are you awake? I guess we can kill a little more time.
We can see while Bird gets some coffee down the hatch or whatever it is he needs to do. We certainly have a few more minutes. If you guys have any questions about this episode or any theories, because I'm going to tell you right now, like I said, I didn't remember it, and I don't remember it for this is the first time I've seen it, so I only have the most outside of ideas exactly what happened here, but it was, at least for the most part, enjoyable. We saw Star Trek people doing Star Trek things in a Star Trek environment. We didn't see something from today superimposed, and it followed most of the rules of good Star Trek. It was episodic. It was good enough for regular TV. It was only one episode long. We didn't really get into whether the Federation was good or bad, but it's a less perfect Federation. We didn't have gender tension and problems and hatred and issues here. There were no girl boss moments or any kind of put downs. We had people just being people and doing things that make for a good story. We didn't go to any planets, but we had some interesting aliens. We cared about Starfleet. At least I did. They acted in a military manner. The episode was fun. They visualized the scientific ideas. Their tech level stayed above ours, and everyone was pretty moral. Wouldn't you say, Jerm?
Yeah. The only two real nitpicks I'd have is that little time loop they had with the torpedo went on a bit too long.
It was confusing, and it went on too long.
And I really would have liked to see a Tholian. Because canonically, I don't think we had actually seen a Tholian at that point.
These people don't ever see one, but their mirror doubles do when we get to that one. When we get to the 2-part mirror episode, we see a mirror Tholian. But the Tholians, it turns out they're dicks in both. I'm sorry, they're terrible people, terrible insects in both the universes. So, like, being on the other side of the mirror doesn't seem to have much effect on the Tholians. It's not as though it's a super nice Tholian with the evil Terrans. Like, it's just like, now everybody's bad. So the Tholians, they don't seem to have a redemptive side in any part of the Final Frontier.
Yeah, they're insects. Can't really do much for insects.
They were kind of cooperative and friendly this week, comparatively, right?
Yeah, give us what we want and we won't kill you.
Right, they're negotiable.
And I guess Daniel liked the episode. That's each their own, Daniel.
Hello, Daniel's Hot Topics. Future what's it called? Future imperfect or future tense, right? Future tense.
Future tense.
It wasn't a bad episode. It got a little confusing, even on a Star Trek level, even for people who like Star Trek, in the sense that this time loop was only we had to rely on them to tell us what was going on. It was never a great idea in TV. They're like, I think we just recycled through the time loop again. You know, like, it didn't come off smoothly all the time.
Yeah. And hey, Daniel. How you doing, Daniel?
Hi, what's up? Oh, I missed this episode? That sucks.
Yeah.
Do you remember it?
Yeah, a little bit. What was it? Is it a time travel episode?
Yeah,
it's not exactly a time travel episode. We spend it all in their regular time continuity, but what's going on is we have something up with our pals the Tholians, and there's some sort of time, like menacing time loop manifesting itself on and off throughout the episode. And at the end, they kind of repeat the same cycle of events 2 or 3 times. But they've moved a little forward in like the cycle of events when they come cognizant of it every time. It was strange. At one point, Archer even said, "Let's see if we have muscle memory or something." He implied that they've done it before, so maybe it'll be easier. He might have been being wry. I couldn't tell.
Yeah, I think he was just making a snide comment about the situation. But saw your comment. Tholians could be the big bad of the 26th century.
Yeah.
That would be good because I know in the novels, they were a major player in the Typhon Pact. Is Zim, the Gorn, the Breen, and a couple of other basically nobodies. But they were supposed to be the big bad after the Dominion War.
Yeah.
Now,
Wait.
was there a Breen New Deal? That was a pun.
I got it.
Please clap.
Episode with
Hello, guys. I am back. Sorry.
Welcome back.
Delay.
Just in time for my Jeb Bush moment.
That Breen New Deal. I thought that was good. It's funny.
It was the best kind of joke, the kind that needs to be explained.
And thank you to the people who messaged me on Twitter and Facebook and wherever else saying that the show was over and I had fallen asleep. I assure you I was not asleep. I wish I was asleep. I was awake. I just couldn't do anything about it. But I'm here. I'm back. And yes, the stream for today is pretty much over. So apologies. I knew I wasn't going to be too involved, but nevertheless, we came, we saw, we streamed, and hopefully we'll be able to go on again next week to the next episode, which is episode 17, Canamar. It's a penal colony. Anyway.
Thanks for having me by, man. This was fun.
You're
glad to be
welcome.
here.
You're welcome. Thank you so
This
much.
was the first watch on this one for me. I'm going to have to go back and check it out again.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Resolute, Admiral Teague, and Daniel. I know you came in at the end, but thanks for coming in. We'll go through the panel if anybody has anything they want to say before they go. Resolute, start with you.
It's glad I can be here. This is, outside this stream, really the only Star Trek I've watched for the last 5 years.
Oh.
So,
well,
but,
glad you're watching some Trek. Cool. Thank you again. Admiral, what you got going on?
Oh, we got stuff going on. Tomorrow, Captain Fandom Nerd and I are going to bring everybody an episode of 1923. It'll be shocking. Harrison Ford actually acts in this. It's the first time in about 10, 12 years I've seen him do that. Hopefully that'll go over well and people will enjoy it while we wait for more new Trek to decode, more Orville to celebrate, and of course we'll be celebrating old Star Trek 2 on Fridays and Sundays.
Is this the first episode of 1923, or you guys already into it?
I'm going to start with the first episode tomorrow. We have not done any 1923. We haven't done a live watch. Although if anybody wants, Patton with the Jerry Goldsmith from Star Trek soundtrack is free on YouTube with premium this month. Gamer 1745, Captain Fandom Nerd, and I made a watch along for that from a historical perspective. Gamer 1745 knows everything about history. He was really good, and I have a history degree from University of New York, so we're having a pretty good time talking about Patton. So there's a download for everyone if you want to watch along to replace what we used to get with physical media, the special commentary. So I did a special commentary on Patton. It's doing pretty well, and I've got uploads and live watches for you tomorrow for you to check out.
Very cool. Okay. Daniel, anything you'd like to say?
No. Well, thanks.
Glad for stopping by. Thanks for stopping by. I hope all's well. Okay, guys. So thank you all so much. Till next week. Next week will be another Enterprise. And I will hopefully see you guys then. If not sooner, maybe Friday for Bed Life, or who knows when. So thank you all for coming. Thanks for hanging out, and have a great rest of the week. Qapla All, Bird and Panel out.